The Bengals' first-round draft pick being dramatic and walking out of minicamp.
I can't say what I really want to say, but I'm 100% right, so it should be a no-brainer.
When did the Bengals start talking so much for a team that hadn't won anything? Shut up, win something.
I'm very worried about you with what you're saying. This is Cincinnati now. That ownership.
This organization has this decades-long tradition, I guess, of just being cheap.
You hate hearing that?
Awful. Awful. It's awful.
Is that a distraction?
Of course. Of course.
But at some point in this process, it becomes personal.
And you're getting that young man's career off to such a sour start with you.
Last year, the Bengals were the best team in the NFL to miss the playoffs. And now, the latest news coming out of minicamp shows that their team is planning to repeat the same mistake as last year. Let's dive into the disaster that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Why are they so cheap that they're having a holdout with their first-round pick from the 2025 NFL Draft? And will refusing to pay their best player on defense bite them in the ass? It already looks like Joe Burrow is set to endure another season of pain. It's hard to imagine now, but the Bengals were in the Super Bowl only 3 seasons ago. Fast forward 3 years and now they're being mocked by YouTubers.
You guys waste talent. Just look at what you did to Joe Burrow.
It's truly unbelievable that last year, quarterback Joe Burrow led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns, but the team still missed the playoffs with a 9-8 record. Joe Burrow on the Bengals is literally the real-life version of the Bugatti trailer park meme. I've never seen anything so appropriate. Last year, the team faced heartbreak, losing multiple one-possession games. They also sometimes had a cocky attitude, like when the cornerback Taylor Britt had a gaffe where he called the Commanders offense with Jaden Daniels a college offense right before the game. Of course, the Bengals went on to lose that game.
When did Cincinnati start talking so much? Every time I turn around, they got a DB talking about this offense is collegiate. He can only run straight line. They talk about, well, we can beat that team. We're beat the beat. When did the Bengals start talking so much for a team that hadn't won anything? Shut up, win something.
The defense struggled so much last year that they couldn't even intercept a pass if it was straight up handed to them. Wow. But the first problem of the 2024 season came early when wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins missed training camp due to contract disputes. A lot of analysts believe the missed time led to the Bengals losing their Week 1 opener against the New England Patriots, a team that would go on to win only 3 games last year. They should have whooped their ass. That one game was literally the difference in the Bengals making the playoffs. And now it looks like the Bengals are making the same mistake they did last year by having a contract dispute with their best defensive player, Trey Hendrickson. Keep in mind, Hendrickson led the entire NFL last season in sacks. He's set to make only $21 million this year, while pass rushers like Max Crosby and Myles Garrett are making over $35 million a year.
He does deserve to be paid, and the Bengals believe he deserves to be paid as well. And he does not want to be the highest paid defender. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in around where Max Crosby is, maybe even a little bit under. They just haven't got to the number yet.
Things took a really bad turn when 1 month ahead of minicamp, head coach of the Bengals, Zach Taylor, sent a text message to Hendrickson. The text messages included a warning to Hendrickson, telling him that if he does not show up to mandatory minicamp, he will be fined. Hendrickson seems very unhappy with the Bengals organization, and when asked about his dispute, you can even hear the emotions in his voice as he takes constant breaths, being nervous talking about this dire situation.
But at some point in this process, it becomes personal. You know, being sent 30 days before mandatory camp, or however many days it is, that if I don't show up, I will be fined. Through that, other things have transpired, you know, like the importance of me being here in OTAs doesn't seem to be respected.
Those comments, yes, that's like stink. You know?
After the Bengals eventually signed wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins to long-term contracts, quarterback Joe Burrow made it known to the fans and the media that he wants the team to pay Trey Hendrickson.
You know, you guys all know how I feel about Trey. He's a great player. I love Trey as a guy. He's a guy that deserves to get paid and get paid what he wants and what the market is. So, like I said, we'll see what happens with that. I love Trey and hope he's with us.
As Joe Burrow went on his campaign to convince the ownership of the Bengals to not be cheap and pay their players, NFL analyst Stephen A. Smith made sure to remind Joe Burrow that his owner is a cheapskate.
Like you said, we need Trey back. We need to give him what he's worth and what he deserves. He's earned that.
I'm very worried about you with what you're saying. This is Cincinnati now. I mean, this is that ownership. You confident that they're going to be willing to keep all of those guys?
The cap is going up each year. We just got new TV deals, so the cap's going to continue.
Trey Hendrickson has continued to hold out. He officially missed mandatory minicamp, and it has a lot of NFL analysts out there thinking that the Bengals will likely not bend to pressure and pay Trey Hendrickson, and he could possibly be on a new team this year.
I don't see the Bengals breaking their back to go pay a 31-year-old guy, even though he led the league in sacks last year. You hate hearing that?
Awful. Awful. It's awful.
The Hendrickson holdout is a dark cloud that's over the Bengals organization while they continue to practice ahead of the 2025 season. And Joe Burrow could not deny that this is a disaster for the team this year and that it would significantly hurt the team if he is traded.
Is Trey not being here or his deal not done? Is that a distraction?
Of course. We're all supporting Trey and would love for him to be back.
Let yourself think about the possibility about Trey not being on the roster this year?
Obviously it's a possibility. It's not one that I think would make us a better team.
Joe Burrow quietly seems to know that his organization is cheap, and he often seems depressed in these press conferences having to address these issues. But now it has gotten even worse for the Cincinnati Bengals.
First-round draft pick rookie who they really like inside the organization decides to stage a dramatic walkout like, it's over. Goodbye.
The first round pick in their 2025 NFL draft is sidelined right now due to a disagreement over contract language in his rookie deal. This rookie, who they invested so much in already through the draft, has not even practiced once with the team. And it got so bad where this rookie called out the Bengals front office to the media. He was asked, why is his deal not done yet?
I actually have no idea. I really don't know.
Is it fair to say at this point that you will not step foot on the practice field in practice until you're signed?
Yes. Very bad. I mean, I've been doing this for most of my whole life, and then all of a sudden it's gone over something very simple to fix. It's kind of disappointing.
Have they given you any answers as to why they're choosing this year and you to set a new precedent?
If I really wanted to say, yeah, I can't say what I really want to say, but it's their contract. They can do what they want with it. And in my case, I'm 100% right, so it should be a no-brainer. In Trey's case, I think it should be a no-brainer too. I mean, he led 17.5 sacks for 2 years back-to-back. If I was the GM or I was the owner, take all my money. But I guess they don't operate like that, but
this is just such an awful situation for the rookie Shemar Stewart. Also because he's a pass rusher. Watching Trey Hendrickson, another pass rusher, deal with this contract dispute, it just shows the young rookie that no matter what, even if he freaking leads the NFL in sacks, he's likely not gonna get paid by the cheap Bengals and have to deal with some BS just like Hendrickson. What's even more wild is that before the draft, Shemar Stewart has said that he didn't have any communication with the Bengals prior to being drafted. He didn't talk to them, no top 30 visits at all, and he doesn't even remember speaking to them at the combine. So the Bengals literally drafted a guy who they didn't even talk to, didn't even let know that they were interested in, and now they're refusing to pay him. Let's break down this wacky contract situation. So this dispute comes down to one specific detail in Shemar Stewart's rookie contract. That's a 4-year length contract. Basically, the Bengals want to do something that they have not done with any first round pick rookie yet. They want to add a clause in Stewart's contract, basically including language in the contract where, for whatever reason, they could void his guarantees after this year, which really is pretty shitty because pretty much all these first round pick rookies get 4 years fully guaranteed. And actually last year, Amarius Mims, the first round pick of the Bengals, did not have this language in his contract. So Shemar Stewart's thinking, hey, why me? And this all comes down to the Bengals ownership having this reputation of being cheapskates. And it's really just puzzling to various NFL analysts that the ownership does not want to take advantage of their Super Bowl window while they have arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, Joe Burrow.
This organization has this decades-long tradition, I guess, of just being cheap. That's the reputation of the Bengals. They are not helping it with doing stuff like this. Why? Like, what's the point of all this? You're getting that young man's career off to such a sour start with you. He's already upset with you. He hasn't even practiced with you yet. It's just all dumb to me. Like, what are you trying to prove here?
It really sucks because the Bengals offense with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are really one of the most exciting acts to watch in the NFL. And with the Kansas City Chiefs constantly dominating the AFC conference, the Bengals for the past few years were a team that you thought could really challenge them for that crown as AFC champions. But unfortunately, players do not get to choose where they go when they're drafted. And oftentimes NFL owners, even though they have more money than anybody could ever imagine, and paying these players would hardly make a dent in their wallet, sometimes they just refuse to budge based on principle. And unfortunately, especially for Bengals fans and fans all across the NFL teams do not necessarily need to hold Lombardis or even win games to generate revenue. And unfortunately for Joe Burrow, even though he's a special act to see, due to the Bengals' incompetence, NFL fans may only be watching him perform in the regular season and not the playoffs this year.